After 5 minutes after clapping them cheeks. See, that's the issue.
You want some powder and some crack? Pump my gas for me. You know what I'm saying? But basically, so you want some powder and some crack?
This guy raped me, but he used condom and his dick was big and he...
How did he rape you with a condom?
Because he grabbed me like
Whoa, watch
that.
out, girl, what the fuck?
That's what I mean. Like, he was unhuman.
That's crazy.
And Persian, her bunk, bruh. And I'm like, bitch, if you don't get the fuck off my bunk, bruh.
What you gonna do to that bitch? She don't get off your bunk.
I'll tell her more stories and play cards with her, but I don't want her to
be in your bunk.
Yeah.
Can
I get a cigarette with y'all? Let's get a cigarette. I'm gonna light it back because I don't think I'll be doing no more hard right now. She making it too impossible.
I'm the woman that you...
While Dupree was suggesting she actually chose this life, but this is where urging fans to stream her old...
The business...
After 5 minutes after clapping them cheeks.
Welcome to the Daily Read, and I am your host, Marcus Gentry. Well, people, I was going to take a time off and do some traveling and spend about a year without doing the show, but my numbers came out. You see, I don't care about YouTube too much, but Iheart is, to me, a better platform. Because YouTube separates you by regions, okay? You might be YouTube famous in America because that's your region, but you go outside your region and don't nobody know who you are. Iheart is different. If somebody picks up Iheart in England or Indonesia or wherever they get Iheart from, they're liable to run across your content. And my numbers came out. I got a 66% jump in my numbers. So I decided to go ahead and keep doing the show. I was going to do like everybody else, make some IG generated content and just post it. But like I said, the numbers came out. Today we're going to be talking about Don Robinson. And has the red pill community finally broken through to society and let everybody know that a lot of these women are overpriced, high income whores? That's what some of these women are. And there's been a disconnect over the decades between the old R&B divas and the new R&B divas. And we're going to get into the show. Now, I got two other people that I want to talk about to give you context about all of this. And then I'm going to explain to you about the red pill community, because a lot of people have a misconcept of what the red pill community is. I'm going to break it down for you and show you the pattern in what I see in the red pill community. But let's get into the show.
The Daily Read, your source for news, politics, sports, and all things trending. Here's your host, Marcus Gentry.
Black women have the support of a massive group that participates in ratchet behavior and ratchet thinking. A massive group. Now, white, Asian, and Hispanic clients, they got ratchet people, but they don't have a massive support system of ratchets. They don't have the same support. That makes a huge difference. Because if you're going to be ratchet and Asian, especially, if you're going to be ratchet and Hispanic, if you're going to be ratchet and white, you can do that. But they don't have a safe space for you. You can do that, but you had to go away from the group to do that.
And let me explain to you what that means, people. When she's saying you have to go away from the group to do that, these are women who are ratchet, whores, prostitutes, drug addicts. They usually hang with black women. You always see that one or two Latino women hanging with black women. She's ratchet. You see that one or two white girls hanging with all black women, she probably ratchet. this is what she's talking about. You can be whores all you want to in all other races, but black communities are the only communities that have a safe space for you. And if you call a hoe, call her a bitch, tell her to get out your face, you got the whole community that will attack you. Not in these other communities. If these other communities know you a hoe and they see a man calling you a hoe, whatever, they don't care. And this is what this woman is talking about. We are the only community in the world that caters to these women and call them queens. Let's continue on with the show.
They don't house you. They don't nurture that. The big groups of the other groups rejects it. The black community, the massive group, accepts it and nurtures it. It's totally backwards. Rather than sending the ratchets away, the massive black groups bring the ratchets. There's a safe space for them. Other groups don't have that, so it helps black women to continue the behaviors. When they're confronted, you look like the minority because you are the minority that confronts that culture, that is counter-black culture. When you confront it, you're the minority and they're the majority. This is the only group, this is the culture where the ratchets, the ghetto, has the power socially.
I hope you understood what this woman was saying. Aretha Franklin, Patti LaBelle, Whitney Houston. These women were our divas, but they were slightly overweight. They looked like grandmothers. Even Whitney Houston had a certain atmosphere about her that wasn't sexual. People listened to these women for their music, not sexualizing these women. Queen Latifah, when it comes to rap, was like an auntie. What's her name? MC Light. She looked like one of the homies, like a homeboy or something. And what I'm trying to say is, until En Vogue came along, our divas were grandmotherly. Our divas was married women. Our divas, you didn't hear about them sucking dick in the backseat of a car somewhere. Our divas were like these women right here. These were our divas. Then comes in Vogue. I remember the first time I saw En Vogue. You see, back in Chicago, we had the box. We had the box and we had MTV. We didn't have BET back then. And I can remember when En Vogue stepped out on stage on that video, dressed in all black, ass, tits, beautiful, I was instantly aroused. I didn't look at Patti LaBelle like that. I loved her music. I didn't look at Aretha Franklin like that. I loved her music. Somewhere along the line, our society changed to the point where our divas became over-sexualized, to where it's not about the music, it's about the look. Even some of the music producers can tell you that some of these women come in here and we have to enhance their voices because it's all about the look with them. Some of these women can't even sing. I'm not saying En Vogue can't sing. All of these women are talented. But when it comes to rap, Lil' Kim was the one who over-sexualized female rappers. En Vogue is the one who over-sexualized the R&B female singers. It's a pattern. All you gotta do is just follow along and listen to me. This is why my show is picking up, because a lot of people, when I show them the pattern, they see it. Let's continue on.
Exactly what my experience with what's her name was like. With Vivica.
Oh, with Vivica.
She thought I was just saying this stuff like I was overselling.
Right.
But I had really the plan, like the layout.
Yeah.
Something said, and then
You had the vision.
and then she went off doing stuff that because she didn't
Believe it.
believe it. Like, and then it was like it felt like the you know, the court was dragging the horse.
Right.
And then I had to move away from that because it felt weird. Like it's like that's how publicists and stuff was telling the stuff to do.
Yeah.
I was like, nah, this is crazy. Because she'd been on before me.
Okay.
She was making me feel like a little boy.
Then 50 Cent became rich. Vivica A. Fox's career kind of died down, and she went from looking like that in the 90s to this right now. But before that, she became kind of bitter.
Shout out to O'Shea Du Jackson. This guy right here is funny as hell. I think he's in Africa right now. I think he's a passport bro. I'm gonna talk about that later on in the show.
Hated on Kevin Samuels, and then fast forward. Then not too long ago, we saw her on a particular talk show. She was looking for a man.
Want someone that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
That's not intimidated by who and what I am.
Yeah.
That likes to travel.
Yeah.
Now keep in mind, this woman is 60. My mother just suffered a stroke. She's 71. She's 11 years younger than my mother. She's supposed to be somewhere making apple pies with her grandkids. She's out here still trying to get some meat, some sex, some dick.
Gonna let me go shopping.
Yeah.
I feel like you just spoke it into existence.
I hope so, girlfriend.
I feel like you
so
just
you got, and I'm taking applications.
Oh,
if
you know,
got a friend.
Okay.
We'll be all. And I don't discriminate. He can be. Yeah, I'm not against different nationalities. And you know that too.
Now, people have been talking about Vivica A. Fox's appearance, you know, saying she put on a lot of weight. She's not as good looking as she was before. I mean, she's 60. I mean, Vivica A. Fox is still good looking. You know, she's not, I mean, it's not too many people at 60 that's looking like they was when they was 30. But Vivica A. Fox is trying to change that. She's not trying to be single. She wants to let you know that she got ass. This is Vivica A. Fox.
She looked like she got a diaper on.
Celebrating the fact that she just got a new BBL at 60. And boy, let me tell you that
O'Shea Du Jackson crazy.
No. I'm sorry, Vivica, but your BBL is looking nice. I'm not even going to front because those are definitely clappable. Booty on the shelf. The only problem is Vivica. Who's gonna deal with that attitude when, you know, after 5 minutes, after clapping them cheeks? See, that's the issue. And this is the problem that I have with so many ladies that want to risk those surgeries. Now, Vivica A. Fox, she got money and everything like that, and I understand that. But for a lot of you ladies out there, you are really risking your life dealing with these damn BBL surgeries, okay? And the thing that needs to be repaired for some of y'all is not your ass. That's not the biggest issue. Your damn attitude.
You want some powder and some crack? Pump my gas for me. You know what I'm saying? But basically, so you want some powder and some crack?
I had to switch gears. We just got off of Vivica Fox. Now we finna move on to Mia Campbell. Everybody know who Mia Campbell was. She was a famous actress alongside of LL Cool J, and a lot of people have reached out to her. I saw 2 of her porn tapes, and trust me, it's her. And the porn tapes have been scrubbed off the internet. So she has an angel looking out for her. It takes a lot of money to go into these porn agencies and tell them to take down that video. Okay? If that video was legitimately posted and not illegally rape, and believe me, it wasn't rape, people. She's a drug addict. And she's been tossed around Atlanta by dope boys, young guys. They call them young niggas, young YNs, youngins. She's been tossed around, passed around on crack, powder, and she's going back and forth from LA to Atlanta, just being turned out. And the reason why I brought her up, because again, she's not the main topic of this show. Dawn Robinson of En Vogue is the main topic. But I wanted to show you the pattern. And at the end of the show, if you stick around, I'm going to show you the pattern of why the red pill community exists. Let's continue on.
Because I raped me, but he used condom and his dick was big and he
Rape you with a condom?
because he like grabbed me like
Whoa,
that. That's what I mean. Like he was unhuman.
That's crazy.
Wait, I didn't say
Why you do you like that?
He thinks he's Bill Cosby. Like,
He said he was Bill Cosby?
yeah, he said he was Bill Cosby. He was all like,
So a nigga raped you and he said he was Bill Cosby.
but this is my real hair. And bitches ain't got really
Yeah, bitches ain't got no real hair. Show them your real
Yeah.
shit.
Bitches ain't got quite big.
Yeah, you ain't got big titties. Yeah, bounce that ass for a real nigga. Yeah. Yeah. Keep up. No, did you put 80? Wait, okay, no.
Oh, I didn't push it.
Okay, yeah. Right there. Yeah, we do 89.
Here's Cheetos.
He a cheater, so.
Cheetos.
I don't want no Cheetos.
Well, I want some crack.
You want some crack?
I was like, I don't no cake. No cake to Gucci. I am Persian.
Persian?
I bumped with a Persian stripper, bro.
You was fucking her?
Bro, she wanted to fuck me so bad, bro.
What happened?
She jumped up on my bump, bro. And I'm like, bitch, if you don't get the fuck off my bump, bro.
What you gonna do to that bitch? She don't get off your bunk.
I'll tell her more stories and play cards with her, but I don't want her to, like...
Be in your bunk.
Yeah,
Like, bitch, get out my
like,
bunk,
I got a
bitch.
kid, bro. I got a little girl, like...
Get out my bunk, bitch. What's up, baby? A lighter? No.
I get a cigarette with y'all. Just get a cigarette. And I'm probably give you a lighter back. I don't think I'll be doing no more hard right now. She making it too impossible to get in me. She's like exasperating me and doing all this damn talking. And I need to be calm. I can't function with all that fussing going on.
Is there a piece that you are ready to let go of today?
I think this right here is when the people that's in power in the black community reached out to her and scrubbed the porn sites, because you can't find her video anymore. I've seen them. I've been watching porn since I was 13. I've seen both the anytime a celebrity comes out that has got a porn tape out there, I search for it. I want to see it. And I've seen both of them. I think she has 2 or 3. And in both of these porn tapes, it's not professionally done. Some young guy probably recorded it on his phone and uploaded it. But it's bad. She's ratchet in it. And you can tell she's high off drugs. So it probably wasn't hard for them to reach out to these porn sites and tell these people to take her videos down. Because like I said, right now you can't find neither one of those videos. So somebody like Miss Aaliyah right here, she helps celebrities cope with their problems. She probably helped in scrubbing the internet of her porn tapes. But let's continue on.
I'm not gonna let this old me tear me apart anymore.
Well, let's take a look at these pieces of you. This piece. How did the little girl that you were become the woman that you are? Was there a breakdown?
Yeah, there was a breakdown.
And where did that happen for her?
I had a problem with substance abuse.
That's a powerful statement.
Let me,
for the past...
before we get into Don's story, I just want to say, going back to Mia Campbell, that I had a woman like her in my life, and I tried to help her. She told me she changed. Very beautiful woman. She hung with this white girl who was stripper-like, and I came home from work and they were smoking meth in my spare bedroom. I kicked both of them out my house. She came back later on that night, barefoot, high, begging to come stay with me, and I took her to a woman's shelter, and that was the end of that. Like I said, she was a very beautiful woman. And if you stick around to the end of the show, I'm going to show you the pattern in all of this. And like that woman said at the beginning of the show, our community protects these women like they're victims. These women are not victims. These women are not victims. Trust me. If I was the type of man who did drugs, I don't do drugs, never have. I drink, but very rarely. I smoke. But if I was the type of man that did drugs and I saw her doing meth with her white friend, if I would have jumped in there and started doing meth with her, me and her probably would have been in a relationship for 10 years. A toxic relationship of drug abuse, ratchetness for 10, 20 years. These people are not victims. Some of these women are whores, high-price hookers, just like the low-price hookers that you see on the streets. The difference is they deal with men who are worth millions. That's the only difference. People might try to say that is a big difference, but it's not. Whether you suck a man's penis for $50 or $1,500, you still a whore. I'm hoping I'm getting through to you about the pattern. This woman right here was one of the founding members of En Vogue. And when you listen to her story, because I'm like Jermaine Dupri, something ain't adding up. When she telling her story, she's going to tell you, one, she has a assistant. Ain't no homeless person got no assistant. Sorry, not sorry. Number two, a man she called in LA while she was homeless in Las Vegas told her to come up there with him. And I'm going to tell you, dudes like that, they just wanted to get the box. He probably had sex with her a couple of times, put her up in a hotel room, and she was his side piece. And she didn't like that. But that's what you are. Just because you made millions of hit records, you are a side piece. You are a whore. And that's what these men are treating you like. Now let's get back into it.
Almost 3 years, I have been living in my car.
I said it. Oh my God, it's out. And living in my car. Oh my gosh. If you remember, if you guys were with me, in 2020, I did like 105,000 interviews. And in the interim, I was living with my parents in Vegas. And that was wonderful until it wasn't. I love my mom, but she became very angry. And a lot of her anger she was taking out on me, and I was her target all the time. And I was like, I can't deal with this. Like, I respect her.
Confusion number one in her story. She's like a man staying in his mom's basement at the age of 40. You 58 years old. Why the hell is you staying with your mama? Where your husband at? This woman was a whore. And it's going to come to light later on in the show, because I know some of y'all are getting triggered by me saying that. But listen, just keep listening.
Too much. I didn't understand it. I still don't. And it hurt me. So I was just trying to figure it out, but I couldn't. You can't read someone else's mind. You can't figure them out. They got to figure themselves out. So I was like, let me get out of here. And I was sleeping in my car for maybe about a month in Vegas. And then the guy that was co-managing me at the time was living in LA. And he said, you need to come back to LA.
This where the confusion number two comes in at. She's in LA, homeless. She got a dude who's a producer. He's probably got money. And he's like, oh shit, I got a famous singer on my hotline. I'm finna get her back to LA and blow her back out. And then dump her. Pump and dump.
Because it's getting ready to be fire in Vegas. You need to come back. I love LA, so I said okay. And he said that I could stay with him. And so I was like, okay. But you have a dog, I have a dog. And he's like, I don't have a lot of room, but I'll make room for you. And then when I got to his place, he actually did have room for me. So it turned into, okay, well, I'm going to put you in a hotel for the night. And that one night turned into 8 months. Oh my God, you guys. I was like, no, this.
Listen to her story, people. That one night turned into 8 months of him blowing her back out. And she hoping that he puts her up in a decent house. He got her in a hotel room. This is a multi-million record singer. I can't say she made multi-millions of dollars because she's living in a car. Other people probably got that money. But she done sold millions of records. Now you got this producer who has the inside scoop on her because she called him. She know what she has to do. She got to go to LA, get this man some head, give him some sex. He finna put her up in a hotel room and come through there every now and then, blow her back out. She got tired of that.
It's unacceptable because every apartment that I looked at, every single time I looked at a place, I would call him and I'm like, okay, can you meet me here? I would tell him ahead of time, of course. And then he wouldn't meet me there until I would take video and send it to him. And he's like, no, oh my God, this neighborhood, I hate it. I'm like, dude, I'm the one who has to live here. This is my remote for my phone. You can push play and pause and all that stuff, so that's why I'm holding this. Anyway, and it's way cheaper than the hotel. I told my assistant one day, I have been researching.
This is where confusion number 3 come in at. Assistant? You living in your car and you got an assistant? The nerve of this bitch.
Car life is a whole community of people that live in their cars, and a whole community of people that live in their RVs, and a whole community of people that live in vans. Van life, car life, RV life. And I loved what I was seeing. I just thought, wow, these people I can do that. I can do this. I think. And I ended up in my car, and it's been, like I said, 3 years.
But here's the shocking part. Jermaine Dupri wasn't convinced. During an Instagram live interview, Dupri dropped a bombshell that left fans stunned. He claimed that Dawn's situation wasn't due to financial struggle, but rather a lifestyle choice.
Bringing this up because Dawn, when she was telling this story in her car today about her living in her car for the last 3 years, She said, I was telling my assistant, and when she said that, I said, oh, wait a minute. It changed my whole vibe of what I was watching, because ain't no goddamn way she got an assistant.
She saw people living in vans and RVs and welcomed the idea of doing this, Dupree said. Can you imagine? The whole world was feeling sorry for Dawn, thinking she was homeless, while Dupree was suggesting she actually chose this life. But this is where it gets interesting. While sharing her story, Dawn mentioned having an assistant named Nisi, who was one of the 3 people supporting her through tough times. Alan, who once publicly bashed Dawn and labeled her a spoiled, offered her a job with Hilton Brands. The job not only provided free medical benefits from day one, but also gave her paid time off to continue her music career. Wait, what? The same man who claimed she ruined her career and got...
Now, it all gonna make sense to you at the end of the show. Stick around to the end of the show, and I'm gonna show you why red pill community is important, especially for us black men. Passport bros up. You guys get your passports. Stop playing with these hoes out here. It'll all make sense to you in the end. Y'all are gonna get it once I explain to you why the red pill community exists.
Her kicked off R&B Divas LA was now offering her help. This left everyone scratching their heads. Was this genuine concern or a move to control her narrative? What makes this story different is the history between Dawn and Andre. Their marriage ended in a toxic mess, filled with shocking allegations and public drama. Andre once accused Dawn of being part of swinging websites and sleeping with 17 men in...
Now, like I said, stick around, because the truth is coming out. This woman is a high-priced whore. Like I said, this shit is going to trigger some of you, because some of you haven't got the red pill yet. Some of you men, especially you black men in high society, who make over $100,000, who got side pieces and shit, you guys don't like it when a man who doesn't make $100,000 come up here and tell you, them bitches are whores. It's coming out. Stick around and listen. Just pay attention, and it's all going to come to a conclusion in the end.
1 month. He even claimed he orchestrated her reunion with En Vogue, only for her to blow the opportunity. So why would he suddenly want to help her now? Was he trying to redeem himself? Or was this another manipulation tactic? Andre insisted that her stubbornness was the real reason she ended up in this situation. Can you imagine? The man who once accused her of being the stupidest person he ever met was now acting like her savior. And this is where it gets really crazy. Dawn's viral video confession painted a picture of a woman who felt abandoned and misunderstood. She blamed her mother's anger for forcing her out of the house during the pandemic, but her family had a different story. Insiders claimed that Dawn's behavior and refusal to accept help pushed her loved ones away. Even her former En Vogue bandmates remained silent on the matter, leaving fans wondering if there was more to the story than Dawn was revealing. But the craziest part? While Jermaine Dupri and Andre Allen's words raised eyebrows, Dawn continued to defend her lifestyle. I felt free living in my car, she said. It was like a camping trip. Yet, her emotional breakdown in the video told a different story. People began questioning, was Dawn truly embracing her freedom? Or was this her way of masking deeper pain and regret? With all these twists and turns, the truth became more blurred. Was Dawn a victim of the industry, misunderstood by those around her, or simply unwilling to let go of her pride? Dawn's assistant, Nisi, stepped forward with her own version of events. You won't believe what she revealed. Nisi claimed that Dawn wasn't lying about her struggles, but was too proud to ask for help. According to Nisi, Dawn had opportunities to find stable housing, but her trust issues and fear of being judged kept her from accepting them. This is where it gets interesting.
That's a lie. That's a lie, and I'm gonna prove it to you in the end of the show when I demonstrate to you why the red pill community exists, why the passport bros exist. It's a lie. The woman at the beginning of the show told you the black community is the only community that house these women and protect them. These are the same women that will accuse you of being abusive when you ain't put a hand on them, because they know people are going to sit up and attack you. It's a lie. This woman is sleeping in her car, being passed around from man to man, and don't nobody want to wife this woman up. Vivica Fox, same way. Who's finna invest in a 60-year-old woman with a BBL? Who's finna invest in that? Who's finna invest in Mia Campbell, who's a drug addict and done porn tapes? You got to understand, we men like exclusivity. And some of you women don't know what that is. Exclusivity is when another man can't touch you. It don't have nothing about it. It's nothing about being insecure. We like whores, but whores have their place. Our wives have their place. We're gonna honor, respect, and love our wives, and we might throw you a little penis on the side if you're a whore. The problem is the other communities, white, Latino, Asian, they get it. The black community is the only community trying to uplift these women who are whores as somebody special, as queens. Get the fuck out of here. This is why my ratings has went up on my show. This is what brought me back. Because if y'all want to hate me for saying what I'm saying, I don't care. We don't care. Just like Stephen A. Smith said, we don't care. As long as you don't put your hands on me or try to kill me, I don't care. Let's continue on.
Niecy admitted that Dawn's decision to live in her car wasn't entirely about freedom. She felt safer in her car than she did around people who she believed betrayed her, Niecy said. Can you imagine? A woman who once ruled the charts with En Vogue, now finding comfort in a cramped car because she couldn't trust those around her. But here's the craziest part. Niecy claimed that Dawn's assistant role wasn't about money. I wasn't there for a paycheck. I stayed because I cared about her, she added. But here's where destiny took an unexpected turn. Andre Allen's job offer wasn't just about giving Dawn financial security, it was about control. Reports surfaced that Andre wanted Dawn to publicly apologize for the allegations she made against him on R&B Divas LA before accepting the job.
You damn right. Ain't no telling what she said about this man. You out here on swinging websites, getting your back blown out by 17 men in 1 month, and then you accuse this man of what? Talking shit to you? I ain't never heard about him putting his hands on you. Damn right he talks shit to you. You his wife and you out here whoring. He wants an apology.
Makes this story different is that Andre wasn't offering help out of kindness. He wanted to clear his own name. Dawn, being the proud and stubborn woman she is, refused. I'd rather sleep in my car than bow down to a man who tried to destroy me. She
and the black community is going to uplift this. It's going to uplift this. Listen carefully to what I'm saying, people. The black community, not the white community, not the Latino community, not the Asian community, they're going to uplift this. Oh, she's strong. She's strong. She ain't bound down to no man. You a whore. And you accuse this man of being abusive to you probably. You a slut bucket. Let's continue on.
Reportedly told a close friend. And guess what? This rejection only fueled Andre's anger. He started leaking old stories about Dawn's behavior during their marriage, painting her as unstable and difficult to work with. Fans were left divided. Was Dawn truly a victim of a toxic ex-husband? Or was she refusing to take responsibility for her own downfall? As the controversy grew, Dawn's supporters started a social media campaign, urging fans to stream her old music and help her financially. But the damage was already done. The world had already seen her vulnerable side, and the music industry that once adored her now watched her struggle from the sidelines.
The business, motherfucker.
The Daily
Like I promised you people, I'm finna show you. I'm about to show you. Clear some of this smoke out. Like I promised, I'm about to show you why the red pill community exists. Okay? I'm gonna give you a brief demonstration of why the red pill community exists. Let's get into it. For those guys that ain't been a part of the red pill community, I've been red pill before I even knew red pill existed. I can give you stories about one time a woman stayed out all night after I put her and her kids into a 4-bedroom house. She got mad at me because I told her 14-year-old son to go out and cut the grass. He didn't say anything. He ran upstairs and slammed his door. His mother called herself getting mad and saying, "Leave him alone, I'll cut the grass." Then had enough nerve to come back and ask me for some money to get him to go to school on a school trip. Then she turned around and cheated on me with another person. She saying she spent the night with her girlfriend. I don't believe it. So she tried to strike up an argument with me to take the blame off of herself. So what I did was I waited until the house across the street came open, used my savings to move into the house right across the street, and I sat on my porch drinking coffee as I watched the constable knock on her door and evict her and her kids out that house. I've been red pill, which is why a lot of people don't really like me. I've been red pill. I've been took the blanket off and let these women know, you can't play in my face. It's not gonna happen. And a lot of people don't like that. So now I'm finna show you why the red pill community exists and why my show is taking off. This right here is 100% of the men in America. This is 100% of the women in America. Pay attention for all my red pill guys out there. This is 10% of the women in America. These are the most undesirable women. These are your 3, 4s, and 2s. Your 2s, 3s, and 4s. We're going to put that right there for a second. This right here represents 90% of the women. We're going to put this right here for a second. This represents 100% of the men in America. Sometimes you got to demonstrate to people in order for them to get it. This is why the red pill community exists. 90% of the women are chasing 10% of the men. 90% of the women in America are chasing 10% of the men. Let's look at these men for a second. 10% of the men in America make over $100,000. 6 figures. Most of the men in America make anywhere from $40,000 to $60,000 a year. If you make anything less than $100,000, normal women are going to consider you a bum or broke. 90% of the women chase 10% of the men in America. Okay? Now, in this 90% of the women, some of these women are 8, 9s, and 10s. These are the Vivica Foxes. These are the Dawn Robinsons of the world. These are the Lisa Rays of the world. Some of these women represent 5s, 6s, and 7s. Okay? We're going to set that right there for a second. These men right here, from the time they leave, these men right here,
the business motherfucker.
The Daily Read, your source for news, politics, sports, and all things trending. Here.
These men right here, from the time they leave high school until the time they're 30, have to deal with 10% of the women. Follow along with me now for all my red pill guys out here. 90% of the men in America have to deal with 10% of the women. These are the men who are your construction workers, your truck drivers, your school teachers. We have to settle for 10% of the women. These are the most undesirable women in America. These are the women who sit in front of a stove because they're so big they can't stand up, but they got 4 or 5 kids running around the house. Somebody's getting them pregnant because these 90% of the men have to date 10% of the women up until they're 30. Now let me tell you what happens at the age of 30 for us men. These are 90% of the women. These are 8, 9s, and 10s, 4, 5s, and 6s. Like Kevin Samuel said, there are no 7s. What happens at the age of 30? 50% of these women come back. Remember, 90% of the men have to deal with 10% of the women. Remember that. 50% of those women that didn't want to deal with you from the age of high school to 30 come back to the hood. They got babies, they got problems, they've been raped, they've been whores, they done porn, and we got to deal with these women. And they treat us like shit. 90% of the men, by the time they turn 30, are just becoming a part of society to the point where they're making money. So now these women need somebody to help them. So they come back after dismissing 90% of the men for 30 years. Now these women need our resources because they're struggling. Remember, 10% of the men deal with 90% of the women because these 10% of the men have over $100,000 a year. So when these men get done with these women, they usually find them a wife. And they send all the rest of the whores back to the hood. So now, you got 90% of the men, they got to deal with the 4, 5s, and 6s, and the 2s, 3s, and 4s. Okay? Half of these women got issues, they got mental issues, they got problems, but they need help. And they will use you up. They will step on you because they're trying to get back to the rich men that they were used to dealing with. But those rich men don't want them. You're a whore. Go back and find you a truck driver. Find you a construction worker. I don't want you. I done used you up. Me and my friends, we done had sex with you. So guess who they go back and find? The average guy, the construction worker who's now coming into money. The average truck driver who's now coming into money. Now, let's get to the divas. This is going to blow y'all mind. Let's get to the divas. 8, 9s, and 10s never come back to the hood. Remember what I said. for 30 years, 4, 5s, and 6s, and 8, 9s, and 10s chase 10% of the men. Okay. By the time they reach 30 and they hit the wall, some of these women come back. Not the 8, 9s, and 10s. The 8, 9s, and 10s are like Don. Don refuses to be with a normal man. Any guy who's a construction worker will be glad to take a woman like her. Any guy that's a truck driver will be glad to take a woman like her. Oh, she's a famous singer from En Vogue? Yeah, I'll marry her. She don't want that. She'd rather deal with a married millionaire and be his whore than go and find her a normal man. Her ex-husband tried to give her a job as a woman that works at a hotel. She refused. Why? Because she feels like she's above that. 8, 9s, and 10s never come back to the hood. They'd rather be somebody's concubine than come back to the hood. Look at Vivica Fox, 60 years old, unmarried, went and got a BBL. She's a part of this. You see how the dots connect? You see how I connected the dots for you? 4, 5s, and 6s, and 8, 9s, and 10s. These women are the type of women that chase millionaires and rich men from the time they leave high school until the time they're 30. During that time that they're chasing these men, they're being used and abused, they're being raped, they're being on drugs, they're being porn stars, and then about the time they hit the wall, half of the women come back. They got babies, they got 3 or 4 kids, they got mental issues, they got trust issues. They give you black pills. If you don't know what a black pill is, look it up. Half of these women come back to the hood. When you ain't seen a woman who's a 4, 5, or 6 in 10 years, guess what she been? She been laid up with some football player somewhere, giving him babies, and he been treating her like a whore. So when she finally leaves him, she comes back to where her mama stay at, and you see her and you be like, damn, is that such and such from high school? Okay, I'm finna holler at her. So when you holler at this woman, she got 4, 5 babies, she got issues, she using you for your money to help you take care of kids that ain't even yours. These kids ain't yours. She's struggling, living in her car, and you got to deal with this. And people in the black community expect you to deal with this. And if you buck against the system and you tell these people, man, I'm not dealing with that whore, they get mad at you. This is what's going on in the community. And the 8, 9s, and 10s, they never come back. That beautiful girl you saw in high school, she leaves, goes off to date NFL players, but you would never see her again. You might see her on TV, like Vivica Fox, telling all men that if they make less than me, I don't want them, and this and that. But you never see these women again. These women are somewhere being slutted out by a millionaire. Because in her mind, she's still too beautiful to come back to the hood. Now the 4, 5s, and 6s, they come back. They ain't got no choice. They come back. By the time they reach 30 and hit the wall, they come back. But the 8, 9s, and 10s, you never see them again. They don't come back. But you could best believe they somewhere being somebody's whore. It might not be a poor man's whore, but there's somebody who's a rich man's whore. And this is what's going on in the community. This is why the red pill community exists, because men for the last 30 years have been telling society it's an imbalance. Especially in the black community. White community, Latino community, Asian community, they don't put up with it. You liable to see a beautiful Asian girl or a beautiful Latino girl with an average looking Latino guy and they broke. But she love her man. Like that woman said at the beginning of the video, you got ratchets in every community. But the other communities, they don't put up with it. If you a whore or you a ratchet, go be somewhere else. And guess who they come to? They start hanging out with black women. Acting just as ratchet as a black woman. This is a problem. I hope y'all learned something from today's show. This is the Daily Read, and I'm out.
The business, motherfucker.
The Daily Read.
Business.